Hello, I've put together some problems for whole numbers from sections 1.1 and 1.2. 1.1 talks about place value and rounding. The thing I want to tell you about place values to get in the habit of writing it out. The more times you write it out, the easier it will be to remember it. So when you're doing an assignment or a quiz or a worksheet, just get it somewhere on the paper. Doesn't matter how neat it is. It's just going to help you remember. The more things you have on the paper, the less you have to carry in your brain. That's what I always say. When we're talking about rounding, we need to make sure we know what these place values are because they're going to tell us to round to a certain place. Let's take the number 7,568 and let's round it to the hundreds place. Where is the hundreds place? Oh, I just wrote it there on my paper. It'll be easy to find. It's right here. Then when we round, we look to the digit right to the right. That's the 6. And we want to know, are we going to round up or round down? Is this number closer to 7,500 or 7,600? Because the 6 is bigger than 5, we're going to round up. This number is closer to 7,600. Okay? If we had a number, let's say 12,342, and I asked you to round it to the tens place, we're going to underline the tens place and look to the right at this 2. The 2 is less than 5, so we're going to round down. This number is closer to 12,340. Okay? This number 62 is from your textbook. It's on page 10. The distance from the Earth to the Sun is about 149,730,000 kilometers. Round the number to the nearest million. Before you start solving it, always read it twice. Hit pause for a second and read the problem again. After you're sure that you understand the problem, remember, don't be scared to read it 4 times, but this is an easy one. We're going to underline the nearest million. Where is that? It's right here. Okay? Then we look to the right. That's the 7. It's bigger than 5, so we're going to round up. We're asking ourselves, is this number closer to 149 million or 150 million? This is a little tricky because 9 rounds up to 10, but we can handle it. We're just going to round this up to 150 million. 150 million what? Bananas? No, kilometers. Okay. Next, we have number 64. The 2 largest cities in the world are Tokyo and Mexico City. According to the Japanese Bureau of Citizens and Culture Affairs, Tokyo had 12.6 million people in 2005. The Mexican National Institute of Statistics reported Mexico City's population is 8.7 million persons in 2005. Round each of these numbers to the nearest million. This is just tricky reading. It's an easy problem, but it's tricky reading. But the secret is, most math is tricky reading. I'd read this one 3 times or 4 times. I don't care how many times you read it. Keep reading it till you understand it. Hit pause and do that. And then we're going to go crazy with the red pen. Because guess what? Once we understand the problem, we know that we just need this number and the directions to the nearest million. We don't need to know any of the rest of this. Japanese Bureau of Citizens and Culture Affairs, that's really wordy and ugly. That's really just there to confuse us. Oh, maybe it's good information, but we don't need it. Someone thinks it's good information. We don't need it. Okay? The only thing we need to know is that we want to round this number and this number to the nearest million. So, 12.6 to the nearest million. We look at this digit. It's more than 5, so we're going to round up. That's 13 million. 8.7 million. we're going to look at this number. It's bigger than 5, so we're going to round up to 9 million. Persons. In 1.2, we're dealing with adding and subtracting, but we're really just dealing with tricky reading problems. Let's read this one. In pricing a 4-door car, Pat found she would have to pay a base price of $30,500 plus $2,135 in taxes and $1,006 for license fees. For a 2-door sedan car of the same make, she would pay a base price of $25,000 plus $1,750 in taxes and $825 for license fees. Including all expenses, how much cheaper was the 2-door model? Okay, after we read this problem a couple of times, we can start sorting out the information we need and the information we don't need. It's a lot of reading and it's a 3-part problem, so let's consider it carefully. Here we have for the 4-door car, $30,500, we'll need that. $2,135 in taxes, we'll need that. We don't really need to know that it's for taxes, but we also need this one. If those taxes and license fees are making you nervous, just cross them out. We don't need them. Okay, these are the total expenses for the 4-door car. For the 2-door car, we have this one, plus this one, plus this one. And we want to know how much cheaper was a 2-door. Okay, we need to add up all the expenses for the 4-door car to get the total for that car. You go ahead and do that, see if you can race me. Just kidding. Racing makes me nervous, I'll mess up. How's that look? 33,641. The 2-door car, we'll add up those expenses. That equals 25,575. I didn't just do that in my head, I used a calculator. Okay, are we done? Nope. Did we answer the question? Let's look at it, including all expenses. Okay, how much cheaper is a comparison problem? That means subtract. So they said how much cheaper? We're going to subtract these two. When we subtract the 2-door one from the 4-door one, we get $6,066 cheaper for the 2-door. What's next? Finding the perimeter of a regular hexagon. This is not tricky math and this is not tricky reading. It's just a reminder to make a picture. And in your book it tells you that the side length is 2 feet. The hexagon has 6 sides. Regular means that they're the same. They don't have to be the same in your picture. Mine's not a perfect picture. It just has to have all the information. What I want to remind you to do is to put every single one of those little 2's on there. It might sound silly, but it's going to help you keep your information straight, and it's a good habit to get into. The more that's on the paper, the less you have to have in your brain. So, perimeter equals side plus side plus side plus side, however many sides there are. There are 6 here. This is the adding chapter, so I guess they want us to add. But if you recognize that this is 6 times 2, you can go ahead and do 6 times 2. Perimeter equals 12 feet. Thank you.